So we've covered the big five. The big five computer components include the CPU, the motherboard, the hard drive, the RAM, which go in there, but I threw it over there, and then the power supply. Okay, so those are your five. Those are the five things that you absolutely have got to have in your computer in order for it to work. Okay, because the power supply supplies the electricity to the motherboard, which the motherboard spreads it out to all the different places, including the CPU, which processes the data. The data goes to the RAM and goes to the hard drive. Those are two of the places the data can go. But there are lots of other things inside of a computer. Now, most of them in here, we're not going to talk about too much because there's really not a whole lot more to talk about in this machine. The computers that we have in schools typically don't have a lot of bells and whistles to them. There is one thing, though, that I am going to talk about from here, but in order to get at it, I'm going to close it back up. So I'm going to put this down, and then this is the front of the computer, and what I'm going to do is just push out this way, and I've just pulled out what we call the DVD-ROM. Okay? Now, in this case, this is a DVD writer. And what this is something that I used to work at an electronics store called Future Shop a long time ago. And I remember when these things came out, people were extremely excited because it meant that you could finally write things onto a disc, like a DVD disc. And when I say write, I don't mean handwrite. I'm talking your computer can actually put information onto a disc. So let's say that I want to make a movie and put it onto a DVD. That's what this would do for me. So I could take a movie that I make using iMovie, Windows Movie Maker, whatever movie software you're making, and I can put it onto a DVD. I can also store information on a DVD, like if I have a whole bunch of stuff, pictures, videos that I need to back up. I can fit 25 gigabytes worth of stuff onto one DVD disc. So this is another component that is often found in computers. And what happens is you put a disk inside. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this open. Some of them you can, some of them you got to plug in to get them open. But I would press this button and this would pop out and I'd be able to put a disk in there. And you can see right there is a slot where the power would go from the power supply. And right there is a slot where the cable would go to connect the data to the motherboard. And that's typically how these big expansion parts go. You have to have something that powers it, and you have to have something that transfers the data to the computer. It would be the same thing for an old floppy drive or a CD-ROM. They all kind of work like that. So this would attach to the motherboard using one of these cords. So I'll just, as an example, I could take it off the hard drive and I would plug it right onto the CD-ROM. And then the power, here's the power, and I could just take any one available, and there we go. And just by doing that, if the computer were on, that would actually be functioning. When I put it back in the slot where it came from, that's nothing more than mounting it where it should go. And I just kind of push it. Actually, I'd probably go the other way, go from the front. But you don't actually have to have everything mounted in place in order for the computer to run. If I turned it on right now, based on those two things, this would be functional. Okay, so that's one other component that we didn't talk about. It's called a DVD drive. The other thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to put the computer away for now. Now this is truly e-waste, so I'll have to get rid of that soon. So we've talked about the motherboard. This is the motherboard, but I'm going to turn this motherboard the other way. And what you can see is that there are all these different ports. And this motherboard has, I'm going to just focus over here. Well, just quickly, that's mouse, old keyboard. Here are a whole bunch of USB ports where I can attach a bunch of different things. Flash drives, new mice, new keyboards, basically anything is USB. Old printer. This is called a serial port, which is not used really anymore. And this is for an old style of monitor as well. And you can see actually there's 6 USB ports on this thing. And then here's a network port, so where you can plug in internet at school if you're not on Wi-Fi. And then here's sound. Now, this is all on the motherboard. This comes with the motherboard. This motherboard will actually take care of the sound for you. It will take care of the video for you. And that's kind of standard. Motherboards will do that. However, one of the most common things that I get in class, in computers class, is I get gamers who want to play computer games at a pretty high level. And when they buy a computer, oftentimes they will find that the video that comes with the motherboard is designed to handle the video. So somewhere on here is a chip, we could say maybe this one, that would control how well the video is processed. But oftentimes it's not good enough, and you have to go out and find a way to get better video processing if you want to be, a better gamer. And that's what a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One, those are just essentially computers with amazing graphics processors. So if you were going to go to the store and you said, hey, I need to, make my computer play games better, then they would sell you one of these. Not this one, this is old, but this is what we call a video card or a graphics card. And what this is something you buy and you take it home and you put it into your computer, and now the video would be controlled by these ports and not by the port that's on the motherboard. So this is what we call on the motherboard, this is called onboard video. And typically onboard video is not very good. It's standard. Like for me, onboard video is great because I'm not playing games, I'm just doing my schoolwork and maybe watching some movies and stuff like that. It's fine for that. But if I want really amazing processing power when it comes to graphics, I'm going to go out and buy myself a new video card. And then when I get it, I'm going to go and look at my computer, figure out where to put it. For this one here, you can see there's this slot here and there's this slot here. I'm not even sure if this is going to work, but we'll try it. Yeah, so different ones fit in different places, and it looks like this particular motherboard here wouldn't fit this one. This was a more advanced one, so this motherboard won't fit it, but it would go in one of the expansion slots down here, and I just push. Oh, I'm putting it in the wrong way. No wonder. My goodness. Yeah, it's still not going to fit. Is it? No, it's not going to fit. So you would put it into one of these expansion slots, push down, and then you would have a new port like that in your computer. And then you would just plug your video monitor into there. And you can see this one has HDMI, which is a newer port compared to VGA. And so even though we're dealing with really old stuff here, this is an upgrade on that. This graphics card that I'm holding in my hand would have its own dedicated memory and processing power. So kind of like how the computer itself has RAM and a CPU, a good graphics card will have its own memory and its own CPU kind of thing that will only handle video related material. So that's why it makes video run much smoother, renders things better. So if you're a gamer and you have a computer and it hasn't been playing super well at home, you may want to go to the store and invest in a video card. And believe it or not, you can spend as little as $50 and you can spend as much as you want. You can go up to thousands of dollars for these kinds of things. But that's a video card. And I don't have a sound card with me, but everything I just said, you could do the exact same thing for sound. So here I could plug in a microphone and I can plug in headphones, the basics for a computer. But let's say that you are an aspiring artist or you have a band, you want to do some mixing, you can go to the store and you can buy yourself a much better sound card. And then you would take it home, same thing, plug it into the expansion slots, and now you would have a computer that could do a much better job editing, sound, recording, doing whatever you need to do. So when you buy a computer, typically the video and the sound are okay. You know, they're going to get you by. For 98% of people, it's probably all you're going to want. But some people are going to go out and buy these cards, video card or a sound card, plug them into the motherboard, and it will make their computer even better. So in terms of other things I want you to know, you know the big five. Now you know about a DVD drive. I did actually bring this one just to show you. This is an example of a laptop DVD drive, much slimmer, but the same exact idea. You can see there's the cable attachments there. This is for a laptop. So I want you to know a DVD drive, what that is. I want you to know what a video card is. I want you to know what a sound card is. And I kind of want you to know what it means to expand or to upgrade. It means to go out and buy something better, plug it into your existing computer, and you have an enhanced machine. So those are some other computer components that are very important.